And no, you only get one body in this life. If you take care of it while you're young, it'll probably take care of you when you get older. Okay, I was in the Summer Olympics. I wanted to be in the Winter Olympics also. So I said, okay, what can I do? I looked at all the Winter Olympic events. I couldn't skate. I couldn't play hockey. I couldn't speed skate. So I said, well, I can run fast and push and jump in and hold on for good life. So that's bobsledding. I'm never too old to learn. And I'm willing to let my ego not be there to be able to be better, be a better person.
Today on the Seano Show, we've got a living legend, an athlete who's done what most people can only dream of. Olympic sprinter, Super Bowl champion, world record holder. He's proven himself on the track, on the field, in life far beyond sports. Willie Gault isn't just about speed. He's about resilience, reinvention, and excellence at the highest level, from wearing the red, white, and blue on the world stage to hosting the Lombardi Trophy. His story is about chasing greatness and never slowing down. Willie, it's an honor to have you on the show, brother. Thank you.
Well, thank you, my friend. It's my pleasure to be here. It's always good to see you outside the gym now.
Yeah. So, it's good to see you outside of the gym. And my God, what a story. And let's tell you, you were born in Georgia?
Yes, born in Georgia, small town called Griffin, Georgia. It's about 30 miles south of Atlanta.
Okay. And when did you realize, I'm pretty fast?
Well, it was probably in the first grade. My first grade, we had this little gym where we had to go outside and run. It was a circle. We had to run around the circle. Well, I was faster than the first grade, second grade, and third grade kids. So I could outrun everybody. And at that point, I sort of knew I was pretty fast.
And what were your parents like? Good folk? Tell us about a little bit about your life, a little bit growing up.
Well, her mother and father was great. My mother was actually a runner, so I probably get my speed from her. She ran with Wyoming Tice back in the day, but no Olympic or anything. My dad played semi-pro baseball, but my sister, I have to give her all the credit. She was amazing. She was really fast, and I chased her most of my childhood. I was trying to keep up with her. She was really fast.
Well, and did you start training early on in your life, or was it just like you played football, you played different sports, or when did you actively start training?
I've been running for all my life. Since the first grade, I've been running. Again, like I said, my sister was an amazing fast runner. Matter of fact, she played a powder puff football game in high school. She ran for over 400 yards and 6 touchdowns. No one could tackle her. It was crazy. So I've been started running all my life in athletics. I played baseball when I was first coming up, starting like in Pee Wee League. And then I started playing football. Played football 1 year. And then I didn't play again until high school, my sophomore year. Played 3 years of high school, sophomore, junior. Then I got recruited, of course, got a scholarship at the University of Tennessee. And the rest is sort of history. Well, I chose Tennessee. I had my choice to go just about anywhere around the country.
Yeah.
I chose Tennessee because it was close to home. It was 3 hours away from my home. But they had a great track program. And one of my criteria for going to college was that I had to run track in the spring and play football in the fall. So when I talked to Coach Majors, who was the coach of the Tennessee, I said, Coach, I like Tennessee. I'll come, but I'll only come under one condition, that in the spring I can run track because I ran and I was really fast. And I don't want to play football in the spring. I don't want to play spring football. He said, okay. So my first year, my very first catch in Tennessee was a touchdown, a 69-yard touchdown in the football field.
Yes, it was, sir.
Yeah, great. So once the season was over, I knocked on the coach's door. He said, come in. So I came in. I said, Coach, hi. He said, hey, Willie, how are you doing? I said, Coach, well, remember our deal. I said, I wouldn't play football in the spring. I want to run track. He said, see you in the fall. And he upheld his agreement, and I ran track. I made the Olympic team my first year, and had a pretty good career.
Talk about playing at Tennessee. What was that like for you? It must have been an incredible experience for you.
Well, one of the main reasons I chose Tennessee also is that when I went on my recruiting trip, they had like 96,000 people in the stands. I mean, I was from a town called Griffin, Georgia. It's probably 20,000 people, 30,000 people. So I'd never seen that many people in my life. So it was exciting. They played major football. They threw the ball a little bit. They had a great track team. The track team that won the SEC championship, I think like 17 times in a row. So I knew they had a great track team. So I thought it was really, really exciting for me to go far away from home, but yet close enough to get away. It was close enough for my family to come and see me, which was important. And I just loved the orange, and the stadium was huge, and the people were really nice and friendly, and it was a great opportunity and a great atmosphere for me to play big time college football and also to run on a big time track program.
Yeah, and you had some pretty extraordinary runs on that college. I mean, they're kind of legendary. Your touchdown returns over there, huh?
Yes, I actually tied the NCAA record for kickoff returns for touchdown and overall kickoff and punt returns. I think I set a SEC, I mean, an NCAA record at a total of six. And I ran, of course, some big returns back, like from LSU and then Wisconsin in the Garden State Bowl and yeah, against Pittsburgh. And I think I had over 200 yards, almost 300 yards of total offense against Vanderbilt. I had a kickoff return and a punt return for touchdown and a long catch. So I had a pretty good career at Tennessee.
Yeah, you had an extraordinary. I mean, you're very humble, but there's some of those run backs are legendary. They're quite powerful. Let me ask you this: you strike me as a very disciplined person. Have you always been disciplined?
I've always been disciplined. I mean, it starts from my mom and dad because they taught me at a very early age that I have to be responsible for my actions. I was very motivated. I'm not sure. I got that from my mom and dad, I think, and of course, God-given talent. But I was always motivated. I always set goals. And I never smoked, never drank, never done drugs in my life because I made it early on when I was probably not even a teenager that I wouldn't do it. And because it wouldn't help me. I thought it wouldn't. I was very philosophical back there. I thought, okay, if I smoke, it's not going to help me. It's going to clog up my lungs. If I drink, it's not going to help me. If I do drugs, it's not going to help me. So I'm not going to do it. So I was very disciplined in the way, and I got made fun of course. And I sort of laughed at it myself. I go, you're right. I'm square. I don't do that. So I'm okay. And it was okay. And I made fun of myself and I didn't take it too serious from a standpoint of them trying to influence me. One of the things I always promise myself is that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it because I want to do it, not because someone want me to do it or because I'm trying to follow someone. I want to be a leader. And that being a leader is being disciplined in yourself, whether it be eating right, which I do, working out, because I thought you only get one body. I know you only get one body in this life. If you take care of it while you're young, it'll probably take care of you when you get older. So I promised myself when I was very young that I'm going to take care of myself. I want to be able to do the same things when I'm 60, 70, and 80 that I'm doing now. And that's basically what I do. I still able to work out, still able to go to the gym, still able to do those things. So that's what I promised myself to do.
That's incredible. That's really now, Willie. Very few people can do football and track. Walk the audience through what that was like and the discipline of that. And what's the mindset of somebody doing both sports like that?
Well, the good thing about it is that one helps the other. Football actually gives me the toughness for track, and track gives me the speed for football. But it also can hurt each other because in football you don't have the luxury of practicing all the way through the spring. And in track, it hurts because you're on the football field and people are hurting you, trying to hurt you. So while Carl Lewis and those guys were training, like in October, November, December, I was playing football. They were running, getting a great base. I didn't have the same base. So when I came in, I was at a disadvantage of them. And I still was able to compete and make Olympic teams and everything else. So that's told me that if I had the same opportunity and not just train track year round, I would have been much better. But, one washes the other's hand. And they both were great for me. And I enjoyed them both. I never not played them both. Never not did them both. So I have no guideline of what would have happened if I didn't do one or the other.
So you make that Olympic team and then there's a boycott. How did that land on you?
Well, at the time, I was 18, 19 years old. So it was like, okay, I'll just make the next team, no big deal. And we had an alternative Olympics, which I won a gold medal at. And actually more countries were there. It was 34 countries with us and only 17 countries in Moscow. So for us, it was still the same in a sense, even though there's an asterisk near my gold medal, but still a gold medal to me. I just took it as something that it was politics, didn't understand it. But at the time, I was so young that I really didn't understand it the way I do now. And, we all were frustrated by it because it was unnecessary. The Russians were in Afghanistan. They did not move out of Afghanistan, so nothing was accomplished. It would have been better if we'd gone to Russia and beat them on their home turf. That would have sent a better message. But President Carter didn't think that was the right thing to do. And as an American, we had to do what the president said, unfortunately. But the thing about it is that those people never trained for 4 years to do something. And a lot of those players and athletes never got another opportunity to be in another Olympics, which was bad for them. So, but I saw it as something that was.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Right. You got to keep performing. Some people, that was it. That was their shot and that was it, right?
Yeah, some people that was just shot and that was it. I mean, Stanley Floyd, for instance, was the fastest man in the world for that 2 years before that. No one would have beat him. He would have won the gold medal. He never got another opportunity. Never. And a lot of other people never got an opportunity.
What's it like running with Carl Lewis? I mean, you were spectacular. What was that like?
Well, Carl and I were really good friends. Of course, we ran the Junior Olympics together, 1979 in high school, and then we made the Olympic team together, and then we made World Championship teams together. We broke the world's record together. We were the first team ever to run under 38 seconds in the 4x100 meter relay. I ran second leg, he ran anchor. And we still have a friendship to today. I spoke with him last week. We still have a great bond, great friendship. I have a lot of these bonds forever because there's a mutual respect because we know what it took to get there. I mean, you just don't run the Olympics. You just don't run the World Championships. A lot of guys, a lot of football players I hear, well, I could have run, but it doesn't work like that. You got to do it. You can't say you couldn't. You have to do it, no matter what, because it's a mindset. And when you're in the blocks and you're against someone else, you got to be good that day. It doesn't matter what you did last week or yesterday or 5 years ago. You have to be good on that day, at that time, and against the gun, not against your movement, And it always trips me out when people on the football field go, well, he's so fast he could have been in the Olympics. Well, I don't think so. It's a little bit different.
What's more difficult, the guy next to you in the lane or the guy lining up in football as a cornerback, getting ready to knock you out? Which is more difficult? Mindset.
Well, if you're talking about the Olympics would be more difficult
Right.
because you run against everyone in the world. It's not just a U.S. thing. And football is a U.S. thing, and it's, you got to rely on, first of all, the play to be called for you. You got to rely on the line to block for you. You got to rely on the quarterback to throw the ball to you. The pass has to be good. The defense has to be the right thing. So there's a lot of things that has to happen correctly for a receiver to really catch a pass. But in track, it's you against the guy next to you. The time doesn't matter. In the Olympic final, it doesn't matter what the time is. You just want to win. So, and it's predicated on the work that you do, the work that you put in. If someone's even and you put in more work, you're going to win. But if someone's even and you don't put in the work, then you're probably going to lose. So, but it's you against the person next to you and you against the clock. So it's totally up to you, and it's more controlled, but it's a harder thing because that guy's trained just as hard as you have.
Wow. Let me ask you this, buddy. What's it like when you put on that uniform, the USA uniform, for the first time? Do you remember?
It was like goosebumps. It was teary-eyed goosebumps. It was just an amazing feeling. First of all, when I made the Olympic team, I couldn't believe it. First of all, because I'm from a small town, 25,000 people, Griffin, Georgia. Even though I made the Junior Olympic team, I guess I sort of expected it, but I didn't. But I did. But to actually get the uniform when they give it to you and you get it and then you put it on, you try it on. It's like, am I really doing this? I mean, is this really me? You have to pinch yourself. And back then we didn't have the good cameras and all that. So there's very few pictures, if any. But, it was something that will be memorable for me for the rest of my life. And something that I achieved that no one can ever take away. I'll always be an Olympian, always be a 2-time Olympian, always be a gold medalist. And, so it's a good feeling. Because I know I worked hard for it. It wasn't something that was given to me. And I didn't rely on anyone but myself because I had to. Because without me running and training hard and going the extra mile and learning how to train, I wouldn't have accomplished that.
And did you grow up in the church? You strike me as somebody who has strong faith. Do you have a spiritual practice or you seem so tapped in, man?
Absolutely. I grew up in a Baptist church. My mom and dad we went to church every Sunday, which taught me right from wrong. I had a great life, or childhood, shall I say. I had two great parents that taught me right from wrong. And I said earlier, I can never repay them for the kindness and the lessons that they taught me. My mom taught me how to cook very early so I would be self-sufficient. I can cook whatever I need to. My dad taught me how to do carpentry, plumbing, electrician work, a little bit of everything. I can do a little bit of everything. So I'm a well-rounded person because I was taught that. And the church was great, always just a spiritual understanding of something greater than you. I mean, I always understood that I wasn't the all. That was something that was greater than me. So I have to give thanks. And also it's a blessing to be have the things that I had. And we didn't grow up rich by no means, but we had food on the table, and we knew where our next meal was coming from. And I had great surroundings, great teachers. Had an amazing sister who kicked my butt all the time and made me tough. Girls, I had 12. My mom had 11 brothers and sisters, so I had a great family that I was around all the time, and we had fun. I had a real childhood. I had a real kid in childhood. I didn't experience all the crazy stuff that you go through, none of the drug stuff, and none of the prejudice stuff. Even though I lived in Georgia, and Georgia at the time was a very prejudiced place, but I somehow missed all that. I was very fortunate. My mom at the time worked for people who was white, and we became really good friends. They had 2 sons and daughters that we were all very close. I used to spend the night with them sometimes, and we'd all play together. And I was 5 or 6 years old, and so I never felt that pressure of that, the bigotry or the racial things. But I understood it, but I never felt it because also my personality, because I always smiled and always laughed. And so I sort of unarm people. Everywhere I see people, I sort of smile with them and say hello. And even now, I think it's important because our country is going through so many crazy things that I try to make sure that people know that, it's okay. And I always speak to people, even in elevators, hello, how you doing? What's your name? Where you from? All of that. I think it's good because if you give someone a smile, you never know how it's going to help them. I've got people who come back to me and go, man, you took time to talk to me. You gave me an autograph, and it meant so much to me. I was a kid. So you never know who you're going to touch and how you touch them. And a smile could really do a lot for someone as opposed to a frown or not saying anything. So I really believe in that.
Well, your smile had great impact on me, man. That's for sure. Yeah. Truth knows truth, brother. Okay. How did you, I mean, you go from football to, all American to Olympic athlete, bobsled. How did that happen? I mean, my God, you're a triple threat, brother.
Right. Okay. So bobsled. Okay. I was in the Summer Olympics. I wanted to be in the Winter Olympics also. So I said, okay, what can I do? I looked at all the Winter Olympic events. I couldn't skate. I couldn't play hockey. I couldn't speed skate. I wasn't going to ski jump. I couldn't ski. So I said, well, I can run fast and push and jump in and hold on for good life. So it's bobsledding. So I called the U.S. bobsled team and said, look, my name is Willie Gault. They go, well, we know who you are. I said, well, I want to come up and see if I can slide and make the Olympic team. They said, okay, great. So they invited me up. I did great. I made the team, and we competed in Calgary against the Jamaicans.
That's kind of a dangerous sport, isn't it?
It can be. It was for a little while, but what happened is this. Before the runs were straight and people would fly off. But then they lipped the runs and the whole thing. So when a sled hits the top, it just turns over. So basically what you do, you turn over and you stay inside. You don't go out because they used to go into the woods. And people did get killed before, but luckily for me, I think I crashed. I don't think I ever crashed. I was really lucky. We actually got the push record for the Olympics, but we got 4th. So I was just out of the medal, but it was really fun. I had a great time. Met great friends that I have friends now forever in the Winter Olympics and bobsledding. And it was really cool.
You never did the sport before. How did you get on the team if you never played the sport before? I mean, I know you're a gifted athlete, but weren't there other people that wanted to be on the bobsled team?
Well, I went up and I trained for like 2 months with the team. And so I trained with the guys for 2 months. So I learned how to push, how to jump in, and everything else. So I did that. So I trained for 2 months. And it's all about strength and speed and power and speed. So I had speed, of course. And now it was just a matter of using my power to know how to push the sled and how to use your power as far as the running and the coldness. I mean, that was the main thing, getting through the coldness, because it was cold. I mean, went to East Germany. We stayed 10 days in East Germany, went to Russia, Switzerland, the Alps. I mean, so it was really cool. Austria, we had a great time.
Wow. Okay. And then the Chicago Bears are calling.
Yes.
That was the next stop, right?
What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean,
I was with the Bears before I started the Winter Olympics. I was already drafted by the Bears in 1983. So I went to 83, went to the Bears, played the first year. Second year, I called the Olympic Committee, went up in the off season because the season was over in January. So in late January, February, I went to Lake Placid, New York, and I slid with the bobsled team, and then I made the Olympic team in 88.
Oh, got it. Got it.
They
Okay.
already won the Super Bowl.
Talk to us about what it's like playing pro. What was it like for you? Once again, the small little town, right? You're getting paid now to play for this incredible organization. What was that like?
Well, it was sort of surreal a little because as a kid, I grew up. I loved sports. I loved baseball. Hank Aaron was one of my heroes. I loved football. Jim Brown and uh, Lynn Swan and Drew Pearson and Tony Dorsett. I saw those guys. I looked at those guys as being like my heroes, basically in a sense. Well, not heroes, but I admired them. So in high school, I had a lot of success. I ran kickoffs back for touchdowns. I was an All-American, punt returns for touchdown. So I had a lot of success. So I thought at that point I'd make an opportunity to play professional ball. And then when I went to Tennessee, of course, my first pass was a touchdown, and then I had all these other touchdowns, and led the league and still have SEC records and Tennessee records. So I thought I would have an opportunity to play professional football. So once I was drafted, I didn't know where I would go because at that one point I gotten calls from several different teams. Like Dallas Cowboys called me, go, Willie, we're going to get you. We want you, because I had known Gil Brandt, who was the general manager at the time. We'd become really good friends because I made the Playboy All-American out of high school. And we had spent some time together in Texas. And I got a call from him and said, look, if you're there, we're going to get you. I said, okay, great. And then a couple other teams called me. And then the Bears called me and said, we're going to draft you now. So it was it. I said, do you want to play with the Bears? I go, I'll play anywhere. I'm good. So they called. They drafted me, and then I flew up to Chicago to meet everyone. It was really great, and but I had a choice to make because I made the U.S. Um, uh, World Championship team that was supposed to go to Helsinki the last of July. So training camp starts in July. So I'm saying to myself, I want to go to the World Championships. So my agent, who I hired, a guy named Everett Glenn, he said, well, look, they want you to come to training camp. But at that point, the amount of money they were offering me, I wasn't agreeing with. So I said, look, just let them know that until they come up to the right amount, I'm going to run track. And I went over to Europe. I started running track. And my agent was calling me like every other day and saying, well, they at this figure, I go, no. This figure, no. So I just said, okay, look, just let them know I'll make the decision after the World Championships. So that was it. And so competing in the World Championship, we broke the world's record with Carl Lewis on the 4x100 meter relay. I got third in the hurdle, so I won the gold and the bronze. And after the race, after the World Championships, I decided to hang up my shoes. So I hung my shoes up in the stadium, and that was it. And so I decided to go back and sign. I came to Chicago, signed with the Bears. My first practice, of course, all the media was there. And the guys gave me nicknames like World Class and the Doctor, because they said, well, when you came to the campus, all the receivers that were hurt all of a sudden became well. So it was really funny. So they gave me the name the Doctor, World Class, and all these other things. So it was really cool. And it was really a great first practice. Got a chance to meet everybody. I'd already met Walter Payton before, had met Coach Dicker before. So I knew them. And it was just one of those things where, for me, I had so much confidence that it wasn't like a big shock to me, because I played big time college football at Tennessee. We played against Alabama. We played against USC. Marcus Allen kicked our buddy, had 200 yards at halftime. So, I knew big time college. I knew big time college football. So I wasn't really overwhelmed. And my first touchdown in Chicago, again, I had 3 touchdowns in one game. It was my first 3 touchdowns in one game against New Orleans, where Jim McMahon threw me 1 and Walter Payton threw me 2. So that year I went on to make all rookie team and had 8 touchdowns. I led the league in receiving touchdowns and yards and all that. So I had a really good career. A good start to my career. And just sort of moved right in, and it was okay because I had confidence, because I knew I could do it. And, I wasn't worried about it.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Let me ask you this. You must have really believed in yourself, saying, no, the money's not right. Call me when it's right. That's really something. You had so much confidence in yourself. Your value in yourself was extraordinary, correct?
Absolutely. Well, I was a first round draft pick. So I sort of realized that, okay, for my first round, that means someone wants me. And if these guys don't want to pay me right, someone's going to want me. No problem. It's okay. Plus, also, I had a dilemma of whether or not I was not going to play and wait for the Olympics in the next Olympics, 84, which was in Los Angeles, which I really wanted to go and run in 84. So I was thinking about maybe just waiting another year, running the Olympics, and then going to the NFL. But I talked to a lot of people, and there's like, well, it's not promised to you. This is an opportunity. God's putting it in front of you. You should do it. It's not right, or it may not be the right thing to do. And so I made the decision after I won my last medal that it was time to hang it up. And I had done almost everything I could do in track and field. I mean, based off what I had to work with. And if I just concentrated on track and field, it'd been different. But the fact that I played football and track, football was a career. Track at the time, there was really no money. I mean, I made very little money in track. I made some, but very little money was in track. So football was a guarantee, and it was a stepping stone toward other bigger things.
And you win a Super Bowl with the Bears.
Of course, right. So highlight of my NFL career is of course, winning the Super Bowl in 1985. We had a great year. We were 15-1. And then, of course, went on to win the Super Bowl against New England. And it was, a dream come true for all of us. It was one of those things where you play as a football player, you want to win the Super Bowl. And a lot of players don't get an opportunity to win it. Like Dan Marino, who is one of the greatest players of all time, Eric Dickerson. And Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. Jim Kelly never won a Super Bowl. He went to 4, never won one.
Wow.
Andre Reed. So it's one of those things where it's very fortunate. So I was very fortunate to be able to do all the things I did, to have success, to win Super Bowls, to win gold medals, to win go to the Olympics, win world championships, and to be in my right mind and be able to do it.
Right. You're right. So, buddy, as you know better than anybody, so many athletes, success, money, all that, they get mixed up with drugs, girls, bad marriages, bad investments. You played it straight the whole way through. Talk to us about that, and what's that been like for you to watch? I'm assuming you've had people, your fellow players, have great falls in their industry. I'd love to hear about your experience.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Your experience about that.
Well, I think it's my upbringing, and also I just never believe my clippings. I'm not as good as my best day, and not as bad as my worst day. I'm somewhere in between, and I always stay in between because that's where I am, and that's who I am, and I'm just a regular person. If you cut me, I bleed. I have the same inhibitions and same hopes and wishes for my family that everyone has for theirs. Health, happiness, success. And I try to treat everyone the way I want to be treated. I think if you do that, and I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I'm not. I'm the same. Just because I have extraordinary talents that God has given me and I'm blessed, doesn't mean that it's better than anyone else, no matter who they are. So I look at everyone on a level ground with me. And I think when you do that, you don't set yourself up for failure or success. You just try to be. And I try to be. And, because it's important, again, I've had people who come to me and said, man, I want to make sure you know that when I was a teenager or this, I was going through something in my life and you took the time, you signed an autograph for me, you did this, and it meant a lot to me. That means a lot to me. And I've seen guys who refuse to sign guys' autograph or tell kids to get out of the way or something like that, push them back. And that sort of hurts my heart because I think about, what if that was my child? So everything I do, I have a purpose and I think about it. I don't make rush decisions. I think about what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it, how it's going to affect me, how it's going to affect my family, how it's going to affect my future, how it's going to affect my friends and everything. So that's why I take a beat before I make any decision about anything. I don't make rush decisions. And I take people for what they are because I understand everyone is not like me. I may have a certain level that I want to do, and everyone has their different levels that they deal with. So I have to have empathy for people, sympathy for people, and respect for them. And I have to believe them. When they're hurting, they're hurting. It's not that, okay, well, you should do this because I do it. No, you should do it because you want to do it. You do it. And if I can help you, I'll help you. But if not, I got to respect what you're doing. If it's not for me, then I got to move on. But if it's okay, then it's okay. But I think it's the respect, I think, that's more important than anything. If we don't respect ourselves, respect each other, then we don't have anything because we're on this earth for a very short period of time. I have family that 1,000 years ago, 100 years ago, I have no idea who they were. 100 years from now, no one's going to know who I am. So what are you doing here? What are we doing? We don't own this place. It was here before we got here. It's going to be here when we go. They're fighting for land that's not even theirs all over the world, which is stupid to me. It's crazy. We're killing people innocently for something that's not even theirs and it never will be theirs. So I just have a different thought about life. I really do. I mean, not different than anyone else, but it's just, I know I don't know anything. I have no idea. Think about it. If we're 1 mile closer to the sun, we burn up as the earth. If we're 1 mile further away, we freeze. What keeps us on the perfect axis around the sun? What makes our heart beat the same way from the time we're born to the time we die? What starts the heart rate? I mean, what is that? Our body is so complex. All the veins and muscles and everything in a perfect position. What is that? And why? Why are we here? Are we really here? Right? So there's so many questions that I know I don't know the answers to. And I don't try to rack my brain to know. I know one day I'll find out. But right now, it's me living the life that I can live and touching everyone I can touch in a positive way and leaving something in that dash between my born and death that people can be proud of and that my family can be proud of. I think that's the main thing that I want as an athlete, as a person. And whatever celebrity I have, I try to use it for good. You know, I try to make sure that people know that I love them, I respect them, and that I appreciate them, because without fans, you don't become who you are. You know, if you don't have fans buying tickets to go to the game, you can't get paid. You know, and a lot of athletes, I think, forget that, you know, so it's important. And it's important how you treat people. Because again, I'm just a regular person. I'm blessed with special abilities as far as athletic goes, and also mental ability, which we won't talk about that. But, you know, it's part of life, you know, and I try to look at life in a very simple way that I don't know anything. I know very little. And I'm still learning. And I respect everything. I believe nothing, but I believe everything can happen. So that's just the way I live. And I don't take everything too serious, but I don't take it not serious. So I'm not in the middle of anything. I'm high on everything, but I'm this. I'm not this or this. I don't want to get too high. I don't want to get too low. I want to stay here. And here is my sweet spot. And that's basically the way I see it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. God, that's really beautiful. Thank you for saying all the above. Okay, you guys, the Bears, you guys make a little video.
You know about that, huh?
Yeah, what I didn't know was that you guys made that before you won the Super Bowl. Like, yeah.
Well, I helped write and produce that. Okay, let me tell you how it started. I had an agent called ICM out here. My agent was Jack Gilardi. I went to Monaco to play in a celebrity tennis tournament with Prince Albert, and who we became really good friends. And there was a guy named Dick Myers who owned a record label called Red Label Records in Chicago. So he wanted to have dinner with me because he wanted me to be in this video with Linda Clifford called The Heat in Me. It was a video about her being a singer and a fireman and me coming in and saving her. So I said, okay. So I did that. I went and did the video. It was really cool. It was called The Heat in Me. I'm in this, you know, spandex type thing, and I'm rescuing her, and it was pretty cool. And so we went to dinner, and I said, you know what? We should do a song about the Bears. He said, well, I got this music. It may work. So then we talked about, okay, what players would be involved. We needed 10 players. So I had to do this duty of trying to convince these guys to do a song. Now we were just coming out of training camp. So we're in game number 1 or 2 of the season.
Wow.
To do a song about winning the Super Bowl, which is 14 games down the line. So we, that year, had just come off a playoff, and we thought we'd be winning the Super Bowl, going to the Super Bowl this year anyway. So I told the guys, let's do this song called the Super Bowl Shuffle, because that's the name we came up with, Dick and I. And because it was called the Catfish Shuffle. But then we said the Super Bowl Shuffle would be great because of the Super Bowl. So I had to go to the guys and ask them. Most of the guys said, yeah. Dan Hampton said, no way, man, it's be bad luck. Steve McMichael said, no way. Walter said, great, let's do it, because Walter was on Saturday Night Live, and Jim McMahon was doing commercials. Everybody was doing a lot of stuff. So we actually recorded the song in game number 2. I did mine in game number 1. They did it in game number 2, between game number 2 and 3 of the season. Then we shot the video in game number 13, after game week number 13, which we lost the game against Miami. But we'd already had the video place paid for, and everything was ready to go, so the guys had to come. I was sweating bullets because I didn't think they were going to come, because everybody was upset because we lost. I said, guys, look, we've already done the song. It was already out. The song was out and was a hit. I said, we have to do the video. We're committed. You know, it's going to help feed the neediest families in Chicago. So Mike Singletary was one of the first guys to come in. Everybody started dragging in, and it was great. We wound up doing it. And of course, we wound up being second behind Michael Jackson's Thriller for all-time selling video. And we also won a gold record, which are on my wall now. So, and we got nominated for a Grammy that we lost to Prince and a song called Kiss, which we shouldn't have been in the same category.
That's impressive. Now, I don't think that gets done without you, correct?
No, because I'm the one that actually helped produce it, write it, and actually with him,
And
right? So it was my idea.
Yeah. And then, but let me ask you something. I mean, how old were you when you did that?
I think I was 24, 23, 24,
Wow.
24, right.
So are you thinking to yourself, like, I always feel like you're always thinking one step ahead. Like, did part of you want to say, you know what, I'm going to do this because I might want to do entertainment someday?
You know, I never thought about it that way because I was in entertainment. Because at the time I was doing acting, I was coming out during the off season, and I had an agent. I was doing TV shows.
I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing a TV show for 3 years, The West Wing. I was on, I was on Grounded for Life. I was on The Pretender. I did a lot of episodes. I think I have over 40 credits that I've done, movies and television. So I was already starting to act. So for me, it was just, I think the 49ers had done a song like a couple of years before that. So it was like, okay, let's just do this song. So it was really something that I thought would be fun. And we have fun and we make money for the people in Chicago because it helped feed the neediest families in Chicago. So I thought it was a fun thing.
Yeah, you pulled off something very cool there, actually, and you got some moves, buddy. You can dance. You can.
Well, I tried. It was all AI back then. No,
yeah, no AI. Yeah, wow.
No
wow.
out there, no AI. Right,
Yeah,
exactly. No, it was a really cool thing, and it's still played to this day. I would never imagine that would have been as successful as it was. I mean, it was just a fun project that we thought would be over in a year, but it's lasted, 40 years later.
I don't know the story of what happened in Chicago that you ended up going to the Raiders. What happened there? And let's talk about that.
I was on my last year of my contract. I signed a 5-year deal at the time. I signed the largest contract for a rookie receiver. My 5 years was up, and we were negotiating the contract. David Falk was my agent, who was the same age as Michael Jordan. And they just didn't want to pay me what I thought I was worth. I was leading the league. I led the team every year for 5 years in receiving and touchdowns and all that, and yardage. And Jerry Rice and those guys were, I was up with them, and I thought I should be paid accordingly. And they didn't think so. So I said, okay, I'm going to LA and I'm going to act. So I moved to LA basically, and I started acting. I was doing TV shows then and, just movie stuff. And my agent called me one day and said, I got a call from George Karras, who was the general manager from the Raiders. They want to know if you want to play with the Raiders. I go, for sure, absolutely, because I was a huge fan of the Raiders and Al Davis. And then, no, this is what happened. Sorry. I got a telephone call, and I know who it was. I picked up, he said, this is George Karras from the Raiders. Do you want to play with the Raiders? I said, because I thought it was a trick. I said, look, I don't know who you are. If you are who you are, call my agent, David Falk. This is his number, and talk to him. So I got a call back from David like 10 minutes later. He said, that was George, and the Raiders want to sign you. Do you want to play? I said, okay, great. So the deal was worked out, and I went to training camp within about a week. And they gave me 3 times, almost 3 or 4 times what the Bears was asking for. I mean, what the Bears were offering. And they gave the Bears, I think, 2 number 1 draft picks and $1 million. So 2 number 1 draft picks was worth at least, a $500,000 or $1 million at the time. So it was worth $3 million, but yet they didn't want to pay me. So it was just different. And at that point, 2 years later, Mike Dicker said to me, and I saw him, he said, well, that was the biggest mistake we made getting rid of you because we had no deep threat at that point. And so it really changed our team and our offense. So, and it was unfortunate because I wanted to stay in Chicago my entire career. I loved the city. It was an amazing city. It was probably the best city in America.
And tell us about your time with LA. What was that like for you?
My time in LA was amazing. I mean, LA is just, for me, it's my home now, of course. I love the weather. I can train year round, which is important for me. The whole Hollywood thing, the movies, the acting, the television. I got a chance to meet heroes like Denzel Washington, Al Pacino. I mean, just everybody. Everybody was here. I got a chance to meet them. John Travolta. I mean, I became friends with Tom Cruise. It was just amazing, all the people that knew me, that I knew them. But it's funny because when you meet people like that, you don't think they know you, but they know you. And it's really weird in a sense because you don't think of yourself in that way. It was just magical. And my first year with the Raiders, had a great time. Became friends with Marcus Allen and Tim Brown, who are still my best friends today, and Howie Long and Eric Dickerson and Bo Jackson. We all became good friends and just played with historical guys and had a chance to get to know Al Davis in an amazing way. We used to talk in his office for hours after practice, just about life, about relationships and black and white relationships and prejudices and about athletes and just everything. And I learned a lot from him. He was a really, really intelligent, smart guy. And those things are so valuable for me that I got an opportunity to do that. And a lot of people don't get an opportunity to be able to have a great career somewhere else and then go somewhere else and have another good career. So I was very fortunate. And then also the acting, the television, the acting classes, the friends I made there. So again, I've been very, very fortunate, very blessed to have those friendships that I garner to this day and value.
Willie, what was it like playing your last game?
Oh boy. It was sort of because I always promised myself I'm not going to stay too long, because when you stay too long, you get hurt or you're just not performing. So when I really knew was around my last game at practice, I was kneeling between plays and I just wasn't there mentally. I was like on the acting set of think about this, think about the movie here. And I was like I'm saying to myself, wow, I'm really not here. So I think maybe this may be it. So in my last game, we played Buffalo in the playoff game. It was cold. It's like, okay, I think this is it. It was just one thing that I promised myself I wouldn't play past my prime. And I played 12 years, never missed a game, which very few people can say. I'm in the top, I think 5 or 6 in average per catch in the NFL history. And I had a great career, and I'm very pleased at what I was able to do. I did only what I was able to do because at the time in Chicago, we didn't throw the ball a lot. We had a guy named Walter Payton. So he was a pretty good running back. We were really a balanced team, But I led my team. I made big plays for my team. And with the Raiders, I made big plays. So I did what was available at the time. Would I love to play in this era because they throw the ball so much? Absolutely. I mean, in this era, if you don't catch 100 passes, you're just not playing. In my era, if you got 30 passes, that was, people were catching 30 to 40, 50 passes a year. No one was catching 80, 100 passes, 200 passes. They just weren't. So I was very pleased when I look back at my stats and I compare them to everybody else. I'm pretty pleased with what I was able to accomplish.
An incredible career. I mean, I think a stat how did you not get injured?
Well, because you know why? I was in shape. I stayed in shape year round because after my football season, I would go and run track. I would go and run track under an assumed name because they wouldn't allow me to run track as a professional at the time because I sued the Olympic Committee so that I could be in the Olympics in '84, but I wasn't, but the next Olympics. So I sued the Olympic Committee and then they opened it up. That's why Michael Jordan, all those guys were able to play basketball in the Olympics because before you couldn't be a professional in one sport and an amateur in another, let alone be a professional in that sport. So I sued the Olympic Committee, International Olympic Committee, and I won.
That is an amazing story. I did not know that. You love track that much. You actually sued. No kidding.
Yeah, it cost me over $100,000, which, at that time was a lot of money. But,
it
was
still
worth
is.
it because I think it was the principle of it.
Wow. And do those guys ever give you love for doing that?
No, those guys don't even know.
Does anybody else know that? I mean, that's an amazing story.
They don't know. They don't care. I mean, that's it's okay.
Yeah, I know, but that's
right. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, interesting. So you had okay. And then your last game, and then let's talk about your life, after you played football and where we're at now.
Well, after football, I went right into acting. I wanted to be busy because I thought if I sat down and just thought about football, it wouldn't be good for me. So I went right into acting. I was doing TV shows and movies, and I was in acting classes, 3 or 4 days a week, and just doing stuff. I stayed busy. Did I watch games? Yeah, but I didn't. On Sundays I watched games, because that's the way it goes. But I was busy during the week, and I just not doing anything. So and being an entrepreneur, I was relying on my business acclimates. So I was doing business deals and trying to do different things that I was interested in, and just trying to have fun. And that's basically what I did. I played celebrity things, whether it be celebrity softballs or baseball games, and started playing golf, which I play a lot of golf now. I love it. So I was on these celebrity golf tours and doing celebrity, tournaments and everything else. So I stayed busy.
Yeah. So, but, and I mean, you're still running, you're still competing. And then over the years, I mean, it's incredible. You're in phenomenal shape. How have you been able to maintain it? I mean, you just train every day, correct?
Well, I never stop. And that's the key, because if you stop and try to start back, is way too difficult. And you lose a lot. I've broken 13 world records in a span of 35, 36 years, which is never been done from an age standpoint because I have age group records from 45 to 50, 50, 55, 55 to 60. So basically, I've broken those records in 100 and 200. And then, of course, when I was running Helsinki and then those records. So I just never stopped. And when you stop, it's like the kiss of death somewhat. You stop training, stop working out, stop doing something. And you don't have to do it as hard, but you got to do something maybe 3 days a week, whether it be for 30 or 40 minutes a day. I tell everyone, old athletes, young athletes, or just people who want to get into it, do something for 30, 40 minutes a day. The first thing in the morning, I do it. I'm at the gym, around 6 o'clock. I get up at 5. I drive to the gym. I drive 30 minutes to the gym. And I'm there at 6. And I'm at the track at 8 o'clock, 7:30 o'clock. I go to the track after that. And then I'm home by 9:30, 10. So, and then my day starts. So I get it done. So, because if you don't get it done, then stuff comes and you don't get it done because there's always something that you have to do or some emergency comes up. So I try to make that my time. My time is my time, to do that for my body, for myself, for my health. And that's basically what I do.
That's incredible. Just incredible, man. And why'd you pick Gold's Gym?
Well, I used to live in Venice on the beach. I had a house on the beach, so it was the closest gym. And I went there for the first time. I met Arnold Schwarzenegger there. I met Magic was there. I mean, just everybody. Frank Stallone was there. I mean, just everybody. Lou Ferrigno. So it became my home. I've been going to gym there since 1989 or 90.
Yeah.
So I've been going there all the time. And I became like an honorary member. And they gave me a lifetime membership, which is great. And I drive the 20, 25 minutes I need to drive in the morning to go there. It's worth it. And I see all my friends there, and it's a great workout atmosphere. And sometimes we run on the beach, so it's just go to the beach and run after my workout.
It's the best. It's the best.
It's
One of these days, you got to jump in the ocean with me.
I'm not an ocean guy. you heard a white man can't jump, but this black man can't swim that well.
That's the one place you haven't set a world record. I mean, my God, thank God.
I'm okay with that. My ego's okay with that one.
Who's been your greatest mentor? Who's been your greatest teacher? Obviously your parents, but you've had so many great. Who have been some of your great teachers in life, and what are some of the lessons they've taught you?
Of course, like you said, my parents have been my greatest teacher. My coach in high school, a guy named Johnny Goodrum, was an amazing teacher for me. My college coach, and I think my friends. My friends because of the lessons I see them learn and that we learn together. Like Marcus Allen, who is an amazing guy, Tim Brown, Eric Dickerson. We all are like great friends, so we learn from each other. And the good thing about it, these guys are like real friends. They'll tell you when something's wrong. They'll tell you when it's right. And they give you your props, and we do the same. So, and people like Jim Brown, who I became really good friends with, to see his life. And I was there at the end when he was, going through his sickness, to learn from him, to see the humility with him and to be able to understand what he went through and the change. Without Jim Brown, that'd be hardly none of us, all the things that he did. And Muhammad Ali, I mean, to be able to meet him and who was a childhood idol, and to be able to spend time with him a little bit and to understand what he went through. I try to look at things and be a historian of those things and understand and respect those people and give them the proper respect. And because we learn from them. And, I try to learn from everybody. And I do learn from everybody, whether it be someone who's young or someone who's old. I'm never too old to learn. And I'm willing to let my ego not be there to be able to be better, be a better person. I think that's basically what we need today in this world, is that we have so many egos are so high, and the testosterone is just so much, and everybody want to be right, and everybody's wrong because they want to be right. I don't want to be right. I want to win. I don't want to be right. I just want to win. I want to win the game. Being right is not a part of it. So that's basically how I see life, and how I see my little small place. I'm just not even a grain of salt, a grain of sand in this world. It's 7 billion, 9 billion people, and over the lifetime, it's been 20 billion or whatever. So I'm just so minute, it doesn't really matter in a sense, but it is what it is, and I'm doing my part to try to sustain that and make this place a better place.
Oh, beautiful. All right, can we do some rapid fire questions, then I'll let you go?
Absolutely,
you ready?
For sure.
You ready? Okay. Olympics or Super Bowl, which gave you the bigger rush?
Olympics.
Favorite quarterback you ever caught a pass from?
Oh, boy. McMahon.
Harder to line up against an NFL cornerback or the guy in the lane next to you. We talked about that a little bit, but let's go through it again. Yeah.
The guy in the lane next to me.
Got it. One song that always gets you hyped up before competition.
Boy, that's a hard one. See, because I don't listen to music, really. Let's see. Okay, not the Raiders, but I don't know this song. I just know the music. I don't know the name of it.
Okay, we'll come back. That's okay.
Usain
Usain Bolt. All right, Usain Bolt.
What's it again?
Usain Bolt.
Oh, amazing. The best ever.
Best ever? Got it.
Best ever.
Okay. Favorite city you've ever competed in?
Lausanne. Zurich. Zurich, Switzerland. Yes.
The teammate who made you laugh the hardest?
Oh, boy. That's Bo Jackson.
If you could only keep one, gold medal or Super Bowl ring?
Gold medal.
Wow. Stronger opponent, fear, doubt, or fatigue?
Fatigue.
Right. Best piece of advice you've ever received from a coach or mentor?
People are people. They're just trying to do their best.
Oof. Okay.
My high school coach.
That's great. Great. When the stadium is quiet and the race is done, what's the one word that best describes Willie Gault?
Commitment. Gave my all.
All right. All right. Buddy, thank you so much for being on the show. It's an incredible blessing and honor to have you on here. Okay. Any final thoughts for the audience that you want to say, sir?
Well, my apologies for not being able to be there in person. But this is the next best thing because we have the technology. But I'm sorry I wasn't there in person to give you a big hug, my friend. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'll see you at the Mecca, and you know I'm going to be coming at you hard, brother.
For sure. All
right. Thank you, Willie.
The Seano Show is a production of iHeart Podcasts, hosted by me, Seano McFarland, produced by Pod People and 28th Ave. Our lead producer is Keith Cornelek. Our executive producer is Lindsay Hoffman. Marketing lead is Ashley Weaver. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.